poppin' B? Purpok here, and welcome back to another episode of Race the Ramen, the show where I attempt to review something unscripted in the amount of time it takes to boil an instant ramen. And today we'll be taking a look at Sasquatch Sunset, showing now in theaters. Alright, we're going to start the timer right now. Okay, so Sasquatch Sunset. This is a movie that's been on my radar for a little while. It started popping up at festivals and whatnot, film festivals, a couple months ago. And I've been seeing a lot of commercials for it. And additionally, I've heard just nothing but pure divisive opinions about it. I've seen some people who think that this movie's pretty good. I've seen quite a few people who think it's not very good at all. But the main thing I've heard is that it has prompted a lot of walkouts. Like, both from typical audiences going to see it at like a mall, Cineplex, or whatever, like, oh, this isn't for me, and walking out of the movie. And also at like film festivals full of like critics and professionals. People walked out of this movie because they're just like, no, this ain't me. This ain't for me. I don't care for this. And I don't know, you don't hear about that much these days, especially on this scale. And the reviews, like Rotten Tomatoes, were really divided. All these things had me interested, and that was before we even get to the premise. Sasquatch Sunset is a movie about four Sasquatches, four Bigfoot-type ape beasts, with no dialogue. There are, pretty recognizable and respected actors playing these people, including Jesse Eisenberg, who you probably couldn't even tell he was in the movie if they didn't tell you. And again, no dialogue. They have full body makeup with suits and prosthetic like faces and masks. They have like breasts and genitals because they're just animals walking around. This is a wild movie. This is, off the bat, before I give away my score or anything, this is probably one of the least approachable movies I've talked about on Race the Ramen. That said, it's not a horrible movie. I don't think it's very good, but I also don't think it's very bad. I'm pretty split on it, personally. I went to see it recently, before it was out of my area, and the screening I went to was empty. There was no one else in there except for me. So I basically sat there for like 80-something minutes, watching approximations of people for a while, and it was quite an odd experience. This, I don't know why, but people really wanted this movie to exist, I guess. Ari Aster is one of the executive producers on it. The Beau is Afraid, Midsummer, Hereditary guy. And, of course, Jesse Eisenberg and a bunch of other people. So, this weird, like, art for art's sake movie that's going to turn most people off was something that someone really wanted to exist. Good for them. And they stuck to their vision, I guess, but I don't know how I feel about it, really. I think I respect the final product more than I enjoy it, because, well, sometimes it's engaging, and you get to see the Sasquatches just living their lives, walking around, migrating, trying to live and look for more of their kind and survive and all that. It is, honestly, for the most part, like a gross-out comedy, and at times it's pretty disgusting. Not like offensively foul, but it's very clearly trying to get a rise out of you. It's just like, here's Sasquatch boobs. Here's Sasquatches having sex. Here's a Sasquatch getting high on fermented berries and then getting high on mushrooms. And they're like grunting and making ape noises and farting and pissing and shitting over the course of the movie. It's definitely deserving of its R rating. But I don't know. Like, I enjoyed my time with this movie, but I'm definitely not in any hurry to watch it again. I mean, again, there are things I liked about it. There are a couple of scenes in it I'd say are actually really good. Some decently effective emotional scenes, and a few scenes that didn't just make me chuckle, like, that's kind of funny, but like actually made me laugh out loud. One scene made me laugh very, very hard, and was also emotional at the same time somehow. This movie is at a weird nexus where it's like stupid ha-ha body comedy and like like reflection on the nature of humanity and like the dwindling spaces in which creatures, both real and fictional from times of myth, can coexist. And it's weird because like the tone is just all over the place. And again, it doesn't necessarily not work. By the end, I was like, that was a coherent vision. But I was also just like, what a weird, all over the place kind of movie. I mean, I guess I can recommend it to people who are adventurous and want something weird and thoughtful and are against something crass, but otherwise, avoid. Hopefully that gives you a decent impression of what I think of the movie. This really is one of the strangest movies I've seen in a long time, and seeing it in a theater, even like an empty one, was bizarre. The fact that I went to like a mall Cineplex in like the afternoon and saw this movie, a bunch of Sasquatches like hurling their fluids everywhere and smashing shit and grunting and playing with animals. I mean, it's cool that we can have a movie like this out in theaters and then it can get some kind of support, even if it's not doing great critically or financially. It got its chance to be out there, and that's cool. But yeah, if you look into this and you don't think you're going to like it, you're probably not going to like it. It really is just a lot of the same thing for a long time. And it's not like it has nothing to say, but I feel like I got the point after not too long. And I'd watch this again, but I'd wait a while before I do. I think there's an audience for this, but I just don't really know exactly who it is. And I can tell you, it's probably not most people who would be willing to walk into some, like, mall movie theater on an afternoon like I did. But, I don't know. If you're interested in a sort of, like, comedic, R-rated adult mockumentary type thing, I could see it being worth your time. The music's pretty good, and the like cinematography is good and everything. It's like a well-made movie about a really stupid and kind of like rambling topic. And I guess they made what they wanted to make, but I guess your mileage will vary on how much you get out of that, and you could very well get nothing out of it. Me, I'm in the middle, and I'll give it a tentative recommendation to like weirdos that like experimental film, like me. But if you're a typical person who doesn't want to see apes shitting in the woods and giving live birth and flopping their titties around and everything, then avoid it. I give Sasquatch Sunset a 5 out of 10. Again, not bad, not great, interesting. I'm glad it exists, but not really amazing. Just kind of there. Worth checking out as a curio, and maybe you'll get more out of it than I did. But otherwise, there's better uses of your time, probably. I mean, not to put it down too much, I do respect it. But if we're talking Sasquatch movies, it's not even close to Sassy the Sasquatch, and that movie's free on YouTube. Go watch that, it's awesome.
Oh, that'll get you there. Fuck me, that tastes good.